moved up and coming forward. So.
And there's no problem with moving that money then, and obviously, or we wouldn't be doing it.
No, and part of the change is that Dick recommended allow us to utilize those capital funds to not have to go through a different process.
That's right. HUD doesn't have to approve any changes that we make to our capital funding plan.
Oh,
only the Board of Commissioners has to.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Anyone? Council? No one? Thank you very much, Dick. Appreciate it. Mark?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Osama?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
And Jerry?
Aye.
And that motion carries 7-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution approving the low bid and contract and bond for the asphalt overlay of parking lots at Sunset Park. 3 bids were received, with the low bid from General Asphalt Construction Company of Davenport, Iowa, in the amount of $64,637. It is staff's recommendation the low bid be accepted and the contract and bond approved. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So move, Your Honor.
Moved by Diane.
Second, Your Honor.
Second by Scott. Discussion.
Your Honor, will this work be done this year, or will it be the spring of next?
It'll be done right away. They want to get right on it. I needed to mention, though, that there is no bond on this one.
Well, that's what I was saying.
So there is no bond. We don't have a bond on this, and the motion was to approve the bond, but there is not a bond on this. But yes, the work, they want to get started right away, so as soon as we sign the contract, they say they'll get right on it.
Further questions, Council? Anybody? Thank you very much again. Diane?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And Osama?
I would vote aye based on taking the bond out of the statement that you have here with the correction.
Okay, that can be handled just, okay. Acceptable?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. That motion carries 7-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is a request to authorize the purchase of an ambulance. 3 bids were received for a new 2012 Ford Medtech ambulance, with the low bid from Foster Coach in the amount of $139,791. There is $160,000 budgeted for this purchase. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Phil.
Second, Your Honor.
Second by Jerry. Discussion.
Your Honor, is that just the shell, or does that also include other items within the ambulance itself?
The money that we had set aside for this capital was $160,000, and so the $139 is for the ambulance. So the rest of the money will be spent up to that $160,000 to stock the ambulance with Scott, or with the cot, and stair chair, and all the medical equipment that goes on the inside.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief, have we done business before with Foster Approach?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else, council? Further questions or comments? No one? Thank you very much, Chief. Bill?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Osama?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is the request to approve change order number 3 for the South End Fire Station project. The change order, which totals $14,894, includes the removal of exterior light fixtures, additional door hardware, and the installation of a 25 kW generator. The generator is an essential component for the new building to ensure operation of the fire station during power outages. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor. Excuse me.
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Scott. And a second from Diane.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Discussion.
Why was the generator not included in the original bid? Since it's essential to the operation of the fire station.
And first, yeah, and the generator was in there first, and then out and back in. Correct?
Actually, it was overlooked by the architects. We had it on our list of items initially when we were working with them, when they toured both the facilities and what we talked about. Just for some reason, it was overlooked, and when we were going through afterwards, we noticed that when we were going through the plans that we did not have it in. So last time when we came to council, we put in all the infrastructure for it. We did basically half the project. We did the pad and, you know, all the conduit and getting everything ready for it, along with the disconnects. But we didn't want to spend any more money until we knew that we weren't going to have additional change orders or some unforeseen costs. So again, we're under budget at this point in the project, and feel comfortable that we can do this, and again, we're still under budget on the project.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions or comments, council?
Yeah, one more.
Yes.
So there is no generator at the existing South End station that can be moved down there?
There is no existing generator at the South End station.
Further questions, council? Anyone? Thank you very much, Chief. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is a request from the Fire Department to submit a grant application to the Iowa Homeland Security and Management Division to upgrade storm warning sirens in the city of Muscatine. Upgrading the current sirens would eliminate the current telephone line notification and would change to radio-controlled activation with annual cost savings of $13,200 per year. The grant request is for $69,000. If awarded and accepted by the city, there would be a 15% or $10,350 city match. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Phil.
Second, Your Honor.
Second by Diane. Discussion.
Your Honor, I'm just a tad bit confused, and maybe, Chief, that you can explain it. The storm warning system is not owned by us, is it not? It's owned by Muscatine County?
The budget for the sirens is under the emergency management or the old civil defense budget. And Greg, maybe you can elaborate more.
We do budget an amount each year that is utilized
for maintenance costs
of the equipment. The actual equipment is ours, and then the city must be the applicant for the grant.
Does the county help us pay for the maintenance of those?
I'm not 100% sure on the process. I do know when the bills come in for repairs, they go to Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter gives them to me, and then we give them to the finance department. So I'm not exactly sure the entire process.
I believe the entire maintenance amount is a city cost.
So the county has no jurisdiction over the...
We've had, the emergency management is the entity that determines, working with the fire department, when they're going to be let off, when the sirens are going to be set off. They are in charge of the maintenance, getting the maintenance done for them. We are financially responsible for paying for those maintenance costs. If you recall, a couple of years ago, we had some significant costs in maintenance, hard to find parts, etc. A recent grant opportunity came up. We submitted a notice of interest, and we were invited to apply for this grant. This would reduce the number of sirens. It would also bring them up technologically to the cell phone versus the wired, and save long-term annual cost or operational cost, not having to maintain those lines.
With the grant, that's if we get chosen.
If, yes. I
certainly will agree with you. The storm warning system needs to be upgraded, and it's probably in very, very poor condition currently. If this grant doesn't go through, are we talking or thinking about doing it ourselves without a grant?
We'd have to include that in the budget process, of course. It's already in the capital improvement plan as well. This is just a recent opportunity, and the grant targeted a couple different specific options. One of them was storm warning sirens. I don't remember the other categories. Do you recall?
No, I mean, it was a mitigation grant, and the storm warning sirens were were new this year. And so again, there's that notice of intent. We applied. They told us that we met the criteria and that we could apply for the grant, and they assigned us to kind of like a project manager or caseworker with the state. We've already submitted the grant, and they gave us some feedback, and we're in the process of editing it, and again, we're ready to move forward with the submission if that's what you'd like to do.
Great. Thank you.
The thing would pay for itself in 1 year.
Yeah, obviously.
Chief, about how many sirens are there around the city, and how many would be reduced?
There's 23 sirens in the city right now, and they wouldn't reduce any at this point because all we're really doing is upgrading them to eliminate the telephone line, which has $1,100 a month charge. So you're changing from the telephone line notification to radio controlled or like cell phone technology that goes through the dispatch center.
Next phase would be to go through a study, reduce the number because they have a wider range, and then look at the capital cost for replacement.
I would encourage us if we aren't awarded the grant, payback on this is just a little over 5 years. I mean, it's almost ridiculous not to go ahead and do it if we're not awarded the grant. So if the grant's not awarded, I think we need to take a look at it at budget time if we know the results of the grant funding.
Further questions or comments, council? Anybody?
Just since we are on this topic here, I just want to make sure we have 23 sirens.
23 sirens.
And they are fully operated right now with no glitches whatsoever.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that sufficient for the city here to cover the whole city in the event of an emergency?
I am not an expert on the outdoor warning sirens. I can get with Jeff Carter and get with you later on that. But one of the things that Greg was just mentioning, again, these sirens are kind of outdated, and we do have issues with the one thing that usually goes out in them is the bushings, and so normally it's when they go off or when they test them, it's the people that call in and say that they're not working, and so then we get the repair person or the electrician to go up there and do the repairs. But with the new technology, we're told by the vendors that we're going to be able to go from 23 down to a lower amount just because they have a broader capacity to hit the range, and so they would look at proper locations, and we would probably be able to eliminate some of the sirens and still hit all the areas in Muscatine.
I may comment that I think that would be a good idea. Maybe the timing is such that we've got old equipment and the changes that have come about, that maybe it'll, along with your cooperation, Chief, and maybe involving the Defense Department as well as our EMS and whatever, all the people, the team players that need to come to the table to see what we can do to improve what's needed for Muscatine. And perhaps that can be a shared expense then with the other departments and their budgets as well. So.
Anyone else, council? No one? Thank you very much, Chief. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Presented for City Council's consideration is a request to authorize the purchase of a used vehicle for the police department. 3 quotes were received for this vehicle, with the low bid from Uptown Motors of Muscatine in the amount of $12,000 for a 2009 Chevrolet Impala LS. There is $12,000 budgeted for this purchase. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved.
Moved by Mark,
Second, Your Honor.
second by Osama. Discussion.